Welcome to Talk Thing number 19. My name is Rick Jordan. For more than 4 decades, I functioned as a pastor. Life-altering health issues have made it impossible for me to continue functioning as a pastor in any traditional or conventional way. And so I make these videos with big help from you. Right below this video, you can click like, share, subscribe. And then in the comment section, you can click on the Patreon page if you would like to provide any kind of financial help. Thank you to those of you who are helping financially through the Patreon page. Thank you to those of you who are helping out by contacting me directly. Talk Thing number 19 is based on Psalm 116, verses 6 and 7. It says this: "The Lord watches over people who have simple and childlike faith. When I was knocked down and in serious trouble, God reached down and delivered me. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you." You ever heard a phrase, God helps those who help themselves? Many people believe that's a Bible verse. It's not a Bible verse. I don't consider it to be a biblical truth. We can track it back to ancient Greek philosophy. We can also track it back to one of our country's founders, Benjamin Franklin. I mean, a lot of people have said various versions of God helps those who help themselves. Walking down that path, it is the path of least resistance. It's the easy way. It's easier for us to just figure it out, to just make things happen. But usually it complicates life. I have an unofficial condition called first thought wrong brain. Maybe you have the same condition where impulses, things that just jump into my brain that I act on, can get me in a lot of trouble. God helps those who help themselves. So let's pry the sentence apart and let's add one word, and we're going to make it biblical. God helps those who cannot help themselves. Does it rub you the wrong way? Me too. But it is the path of most resistance. Trusting God in simple childlike faith is by far the hardest thing I've ever done. It is the path of most resistance. Sometimes I feel like spiritually I am in puberty all the time. I can't get out of my own way. And so God helps those who cannot help themselves. That's the path of most resistance. But it is the simple way, and it's the most rewarding way. So let's look at Psalm 116, verses 6 and 7. We find in here really just 3 sentences. The first one is a promise. The Lord watches over people who have simple and childlike faith. Jesus says the same thing multiple times in the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Jesus talks about entering the kingdom in a childlike way. Childlikeness and Christ-likeness are practically synonyms in the New Testament. The Lord watches over people who have simple and childlike faith. That's a promise. The second sentence is autobiographical. It's the psalmist making a confession. When I was knocked down and in serious trouble, the Lord reached down and delivered me. Is that your story? It is most definitely my story. Again and again and again, when I was knocked down and in serious trouble, unable to help myself, God reached down and delivered me. And then the third sentence is kind of a command, but it's a self-taught command. The psalmist says, "Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. Return to your rest. It really means go back home. And the psalmist is talking about that simple and childlike faith. So there are times in our lives when if we are living this passage, we have to go back home to simple and childlike faith, because we've been guilty of first thought wrong brain. We've been guilty of just trying to make things happen, trying to figure things out on our own. And we need to return to our rest, to that simple childlike faith. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. I find that the best way for me to return home to simple and childlike faith, to that position of rest, is by thinking back on all of the times when I've been knocked down and in serious trouble, and God has reached down and has delivered me. And once I start building some momentum in terms of my own story and how God has stepped in so many times because I haven't been able to help myself and God has delivered me, it makes it possible for me to return to rest because God has dealt bountifully with me. What a passage this is. I pair it with a passage in the New Testament book of Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. It says this: "Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with, come alongside our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted, tested, pressured in all ways as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly before the throne of grace, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need." The two passages are really saying the same thing. Carla and I have a 3.5-year-old granddaughter. I call her Little Miss Wonderful, LMW, and for the purpose of these videos, that's what I call her, LMW. She doesn't have me wrapped around her little finger. She has me wrapped around all of her fingers, her thumbs, her toes. Doting grandparents think I go too far. LMW and I have quite a few customs. One of the customs is called elevator up. Whenever she wants me to pick her up because she can't see something or because she's insecure or she needs help, she knows to simply say elevator up. And I will bend down and I will pick her up and I'll have her right here. And frequently when I pick her up, if she's emotional about something, I'll say, squeeze my neck. And she puts her little arms around my neck and she cuts off all my circulation. And I can barely breathe, but I tell you what, my heart is singing when Little Miss Wonderful needs me and lets me know it. Elevator up, squeeze my neck. I am so delighted. And I think she is at rest. That's a human picture of the kind of relationship God wants to have with you and with me. And so one more time, I want to give you Psalm 116, verses 6 and 7. Let's just take a moment to breathe in and breathe out. Become settled. Become still. And receive this. The Lord watches over people who have simple and childlike faith. When I was knocked down and in serious trouble, God reached down and delivered me. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. May it be so for you and for me. Grace and peace.